All right. Okay, everybody.
Let's
Right.
go.
Yeah.
All right, do I get approval of the minutes, March 19th, 2025? Motion. Brian, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, so moved. Action, sale promenade. Who's got that? Bob?
Yep, and I think
Yeah,
everybody
I-
should have a resolution that Allison emailed, and then I
Yep.
think Allison brought
We
them.
got copies too.
Yeah, this is, you've already approved this. If you recall, the corporation's conveying the promenade and some adjacent properties to the city of Utica. The city already has control of the property via license agreement, and the license agreement will expire upon conveyance of the property. Because this is a below fair market value conveyance, procedures the corporation had to follow back in when we originally approved of this, I can't recall, October or November of last year. The corporation had no money to perform an appraisal. An appraisal is required by law whenever we dispose of property by negotiation. So we tried to be more accurate than an appraisal and use the cost approach, which was our 10 to $15 million worth of grant proceeds that were spent on the property over the last several years, remediating the property, putting in the bulkhead and the trails and the pavement areas, parking areas, the landscaping and things like that. And we submitted the notice to the authority budget office that the fair market value was using the cost approach. The authority budget office rejected our attempt to satisfy the statute by using the cost approach because they said the law requires an appraisal and they can't find any exceptions to that, and they're not incorrect. So somehow Jack found some money then to get an appraisal. The appraised value came back at approximately $222,000. So we are the board, we're now putting in the fair market value at $220,000. The board's being asked to resolve again to convey for $1 for something that's valued at $222,000. Assuming the board reapproves of this, we will then submit a new notice to the authority budget office. With this new dollar amount, we have to wait 90 days, and then we can consummate the conveyance with the city later this summer. And so the action is to reapprove of the sale of the promenade property to the city of Utica for the below fair market value conveyance, where the fair market value is estimated at $220,000.
So we're gonna do that today?
Yep. Yeah.
So that's on the agenda today. We're gonna approve the sale.
Yep.
For $220,000.
For $1.
That's what okay, for $1. Appraisal.
Do we have to justify the difference, Bob, or have we?
It's, if you look at,
Well, we have an exhibit. Yeah, by law, we're supposed to do that. Exhibit B of the resolution gives the justification. Really, it's the corporation isn't empowered to run a promenade. The corporation doesn't have money to maintain the property or, ensure it's more appropriately be used as a city park resource, and that's consistent with the purposes for which the corporation was created. So that's the justification.
Good. I just want to get that on the record. All right.
Yep.
Nobody's got any questions? Can I get a motion?
so moved.
Second, Jack, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Good. All right, Mohawk Valley Garden, any updates?
Not, it's, everything's in process. Yeah, go ahead. Bob and Melanie have gotten information to Rob's attorney, George Murad. And I believe the ball's in their court, right, Bob and Melanie?
Yeah, that's right. The idea from the board from last meeting that purchaser agreed to was, rather than having two LOIs, combine it into one and get more clarity on the grant proceeds and whether or not the 33 building would be sold with or without grant proceeds. We sent our red lines to their originally proposed two LOIs a couple weeks ago. I communicated with Rob's attorney last week, who was looking at the documents and was going to get comments to us, have not received those comments.
Okay. 17 building, Brian, did you hear from Sal at all?
I talked to him today,
Okay.
today, and, just asked about, grants, kind of ran down, just like about the CFA and timing and stuff, trying to manage that. Just try to walk him through, hold his hand as much as possible. I said I'd talk to Brian and then we can, kind of work out any other grants that might be available. So he said, thanks very much for the call, very helpful and provided me with a good bunch of information.
So he's definitely moving forward.
Yeah, yep.
I did tell him that Bob and Melanie were looking for his attorney's name, but she hasn't given yet.
Okay.
To work on a letter of intent, but.
Okay.
I can call him tomorrow and get it.
Okay.
All right, DSA 1. Anything new on that?
Yep,
We're all signed on?
DSA 1, the inspection period has passed. It ended on April 1st. The buyer is now required to proceed to closing, and you'll recall at the last meeting, the board agreed to extend that closing date by 60 days, which takes us to June 27th.
Okay.
We did reach out to Rob Halpin to get a status on when he thought closing might occur, but we did not get a response from him because he's on vacation.
Have we secured any assurances that he's got the funding commitment? That was from my understanding.
It doesn't really matter because if he didn't, he had to terminate the contract by April 1st if he didn't meet his conditions. So now he's required to move forward. So that the funding contingency is no longer there. He did not provide proof, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, just curious as to whether or not it's secured or whether it's pertinent or not. Just
Yeah.
want to know if we got his funding.
When's he back from vacation?
I know they were in conversations. Yep. Oh, when is he back from vacation? I believe
Yeah.
next week.
So let's reach out and see if he's got it, and then we can get it out to everybody.
Yeah, I don't know if he's under any obligation to share it with us, but I will certainly ask him when his lender will be ready to close, if in fact they're using a lender.
Okay. All right, Jones Chemical.
They actually reached out again to inquire to make sure we were still interested in buying the property, which of course we are. And we've been waiting for the ESD grant disbursement agreement. And there were a couple of outstanding items that this team had been chasing, but Paul can chime in here. But everything has now been satisfactorily submitted to Empire State Development for them to reimburse so that we can then purchase the property. So long story short, but we told them that they're being patient, and Melanie and Bob have already started an LOI, but we wanted to make sure that we got the grant disbursement agreement straightened away before we move forward. And it looks like that has been resolved.
Yeah, I got a call today from them. Looking for our routing number. Jack reached out to them and, but what did I give you a time frame, Jack?
Probably review by a week or so, and then funding in 3 months. So sometime in July. So
Wow, that's quick.
yeah.
Ugh.
So Paul and I requested a call with the woman tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Hopefully she responds. I don't know. I don't have my other phone with me. And then I'll probably bring in Paul on the phone call and just, see if we can push that along. Just all that we've been waiting for an ungodly amount of time with his.
And was John that said that or this lady?
No, John did. But
I don't-
hopefully, but she's the treasurer, something. So.
I don't understand because they refused us. It's not like they have to re-review what they just reviewed, but.
Yeah.
But,
They wrote the thing.
yeah, but I don't know, sometimes it depends on their board meeting, right? They can't release
Well-
funds until the board meeting, so I don't know what the timing of that is. If that's June and not May, then I guess.
It's usually in June, Paul, I think, so that's probably what it is, yeah,
We're stuck with that, that's probably the true reason.
yeah.
So,
They haven't
Right.
passed the state budget yet, guys.
right.
State budget isn't passed.
I know.
They're-
So nobody hold their breath.
No.
That's, yeah,
That's really what's up.
yeah, yeah, so, we'll have to deliver that news to Jones Chemical, I guess, at some point if that holds up, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is they're reaching out for our number, it's just
Yeah.
timing now, so it's not maybe,
Right.
we'll get the money, no, we
Yeah.
got it, but when we get it. it's-
Exactly.
Maybe we won't get more gray hair.
Well, Jones take
right,
an
well, we
IOU.
can, if you learn something, Jack, we can, our regularly scheduled biweekly calls next Wednesday, so you can just update us then, and then I'll update Jones Chemical.
Okay, sounds good.
Anything with National Grid?
Just, right, just when the meetings continue and we've been focused a little bit more on how to screen the substation. Their schedule moved out another year, is that right, Lisa?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
20, when's it end now, 27?
Yes, yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so, so anyway, we're working through that. Maybe we'll, they haven't, last time we talked about screening, at one point they said that's an extra cost, and we'll have to try to get money elsewhere, but they haven't been, lately their designers have been on the phone and they're getting this information and they seem to be entertaining the, the idea of paying for it under the project, so hopefully that's the case, Other than that, yeah, we just been sharing the trail network with them, because that's the next thing, so it may or may not require a small easement from them. So we're looking into that.
Promenade, we discovered, anything else on that?
Not much, I just checked with Mark Sokolowski about, if you pulled the ice heaters. Not quite sure if I got a straight answer, but.
You did or you didn't?
Yeah, he's like, he said, no worries, I think he said to me, so.
So that means, no, but I'm gonna get on it within a day or
Snowing today, so maybe it's okay. They're still random.
We should also talk about the gates coming down and what we want to do with the fencing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need a plan, I don't know, we should probably, I think we need a meeting, because I'm not quite sure.
You want to meet on site with Mark?
Yeah, can meet on set with Mark, but it's really about the mayor, because
The mayor wants them down as soon as possible.
okay, he wants no,
But there was talk on one of our bi-weekly calls about using the fencing to surround
yes.
the buildings.
If the mayor wants everything down, he doesn't want to open the first year, open during the day and close at night and lock it up. If he wants it open,
Open.
then yeah, we'll just, our engineers will come up with a plan we'll measure the linear footage and put it around that.
Okay, I hold off on a meeting? Because I'll see him tonight. I can,
If I guess all we needed from him was the fact that, Mark or,
Mark,
yeah, see if he's willing to do it. I guess if his forces will do it, then we'll give him.
move the fencing?
Is there are people going into that building, is there a way just to, screw some padlocks on it and just try to shut it up a little bit, secure it, so we're not,
Well, because-
Frank Donato said, oh, there's, when he went to do the appraisal, there's people in there, I don't wanna go, so it's like,
I know.
it doesn't help anybody.
UPD is supposed to go in there and see if they get in there, so.
Maybe that's something, if you can mention it to Mark or whoever, I don't know, a couple padlocks.
I'm of the opinion where there's a will, there's a way. You could build a brick wall around all the
Yeah.
buildings and they're going to figure out a way to get in.
And you want to break in the lock every week?
If we move the fencing, we'll put a gate, a lock, and then we'll have the temporary fencing that's around the two buildings now. They can come pick it up. That was a 2-year contract or something. I'll have to see if we have enough fencing to go around 17 too. I don't know. But we'll figure that out, draw it on a plan sheet, give it to Mark, and have his forces do it. That works. Yeah.
Wasn't there a date proposed for?
Yeah, June sometime.
June
6th?
June 5th, I believe.
26th.
June 5th in the afternoon, I believe.
Is that still?
Yep.
What day is it, June 5th? Is it Friday?
I don't know.
Yeah, did you pull the heaters out?
It's a Thursday,
Oh, okay, great, okay. Yeah.
Thursday?
Thursday.
What time?
It's late afternoon, I think.
So
We'll send
Mark said they put it
Afternoon at 4 o'clock?
then they were,
Yeah, I want to say it was like 3 to 5.
so they were.
The
Is
Chamber
that
of
right
Commerce.
at the harbor, Brian?
Yes, the Chamber of Commerce received a grant from, I believe, the Erie Canal Way Commission. So they're largely heading it up, working with the city.
You want me to just send everybody's email to Carrie so we can get on more
Sure,
information? I'll do that.
sure. That'd be helpful.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay. There's the Canal Corp grants.
Well, I know that Mary Ann Bunchon has told us, right, we're not gonna get the grant disbursement agreement until after the budget. Bob's point, but but in the meantime, I think next meeting, we'll carry hopefully have the professional services agreement ready for the board. And I mean, we can make them contingent on the signing the
Signed
GDA,
finance,
but
yeah.
yeah, but you'll have two agreements in front of you. One will be the lease and, EDR Ramble. And that will be for the design of utilities, gutting the 33 building and providing construction management. And then you'll get from the structural engineer that's also doing work for MVG's architect. But the structural engineer they'll provide a package for the ground improvement. So it'll be ground improvement where the new building's gonna be, pad, and that is gonna be designed by that structural engineer. So you'll have two professional service agreements to approve. So under that, and those are accounted for in the grant. And it's 100% grant, no match. So,
I got a yes and all in good condition.
oh, great. So that, and then separately to the city, EDR Rambo will provide a professional services agreement for design for the Canal Corp grant to Brian.
And Canal Corp has provided an agreement template for each of the funding elements. Stephanie and Corporation Council has reviewed. She's had no issue with it, so I got to get back to Canal Corp and let them know. So hopefully they can finalize those and.
Great.
What do you think the timing on that is?
Canal Corp?
Yeah.
This work?
As far as
Doing the work?
getting
Work.
GDA to work, unfortunately, I think we're in,
I'm hoping this year, but I think they were looking to
yeah,
let it go through.
yeah, they put a deadline on us. We're gonna get as much done as possible, hopefully we can do a fall start and then go out in spring, finish in spring, but they put a deadline at Canal Corp of December 31st, 2026, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that has to be done by end of next
By
year,
then?
but yeah.
Okay.
Of course, Disney is as soon as possible, rush, yeah, so, yeah.
Okay. All right, anything else we need to talk about? No?
Yep.
There's next 3 meetings lined up. If nothing else, you get a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? So moved.
Thanks, everybody.
Like what?
We didn't start until like 5 after.